My name is Sam Henley, call sign KE0LMY. I'd like to welcome you to this edition of Ham Talk.
Ham Talk is sponsored by the Hamster Weak Signal Group. For more information on the Hamster Group, please go to www.144200.net. The Hamster Group is an unclub with just over 200 members. Our primary focus is on education, promotion of amateur radio and all aspects of it, but with a primary focus on VHF, UHF, weak signal operating from 50 megahertz through 1296, single sideband CW, digital modes such as FT8 and everything, and meteor scatter, tropo, and EME dabbling on there. We have, for the last 5 years, promoted and put on a biannual lunch and learn. We usually average about 100 to 140 people attending. We have a spaghetti luncheon and everything that's all free. The whole event is put on free and sponsored by the Hamster Group. And the goal is to educate and encourage people in the hobby and also teach them how to build a high quality VHF, UHF station, how to select antennas, feed line, how feed line can impact your entire station with losses, and to promote and encourage VHF, UHF, sideband, CW, digital mode activity. We also promote HF operating, and we take part in the VHF, UHF contest each year, and the Hamster Group's also sponsored them. With COVID, we were not able to put on our two events this year, the one in March and the one in October. So around mid-March to early April, we started talking about how we could still provide training and put on everything, and the idea of Ham Talk was born. This is going to be a monthly show where we will hold topics on different subjects and events, and try to help people understand how to promote and encourage and take part in VHF, UHF activities and events. It's a lot of excitement. It can also be as boring as fishing. You turn around and you got your line cast in the water for a long time before you catch something. But when you're sitting there in Texas and all of a sudden a Florida station starts coming in on 2 meters or 432, 220, or really exciting 1296, it gets exciting. So Ham Talk is going to be about promoting and educating in this exciting aspect of it. So we hope you join us each month, and we look forward to spending time with you.
Hi, my name is Melissa Harpool. My call sign is KI5ICQ. I'm here in New Braunfels, Texas. I'm a native Central Texan, and my husband and I have spent the majority of our adult lives here in Central Texas. He's a retired Army major, and I've spent the majority of my career working inside of a mega jail facility as a corrections sergeant. I am a Texas peace officer. I was the sergeant over the Mounted Honor Guard unit in that county, and I've also done some volunteer work in another nearby county on their CERT team. I've done about 5 years with the Community Emergency Response Team. But we're here in New Braunfels, Texas, and that's a little bit about me. Over to you, Sam.
So one of the questions that I'm asked frequently is what attracted me to ham radio? Well, mostly I can say that it's thanks to my husband. His call sign is KD0WXT. He was on the fence about getting his license, so I pushed him and bought him the books, and he actually went all the way up to an extra class. In the meantime, I was homeschooling my children, and I thought that one of the greatest things I could do for science is take those books that we'd already invested the money in and get them to study for their ham radio licenses. Now, my daughter got her call sign and her test taken the exact same day I did. She is KE0LMZ. My son took a couple more years because he was younger, and he just recently became a ham in, I want to say, October of last year. And his call sign is KE0YGT. So it was very important to me to give my children another way to communicate with us out here where we live in the middle of nowhere in Missouri. Sometimes cell phones don't work well, so having the ability for my children to pick up a microphone on a VHF radio, and chances are they can get a hold of not only me, but anyone in our network, anyone who can hear the repeater could get them help. So that was immensely important to me.
Hey, thanks for asking. Melissa, KI5ICQ. And I've always had an interest in amateur radio ever since I was little. Back in the 70s, I used to listen to my mom talk about my Uncle Ray, who was an electrical technician at KBUC AM radio out of San Antonio, Texas. And oh my goodness, the stories. But one of the ones that sticks in my mind is one time he was troubleshooting an electrical issue and he touched the wrong thing and was thrown across the room, at which point he got up and shook it off and went back to work. And I used to listen to my dad tell me stories of when he was little and he would fall asleep listening to all the sounds of his dad on the radio. Now, I don't know if his bedroom was in the ham shack or if the ham shack was in his bedroom, but needless to say, he was right there with that equipment almost all the time. My grandpa was a Marine and a pilot, and he oftentimes flew out of the Stinson Airport on the south side of San Antonio, and this was back in the 50s. And I've actually been trying to find his call sign, and I have not been able to locate that. I would love to find his call sign. So what brought me into the hobby finally is I finally feel like I have time. I'm not working 40 plus hours a week and riding horses in between and everything else on top of that. Not only the time, but the temperature of our nation is not the greatest right now. So it has really lit a fire for me to get going on this. So I do have my first few pieces of equipment, and my goals for the hobby, my number one goal is to learn as much as I can and get a really good, solid foundation about the hobby. I do not like flying by the seat of my pants. I do not like jumping off a cliff into something that I don't know about. So I'd like to get that's my number one goal, is to learn and soak it up like a sponge and learn the right way and get a thorough knowledge of it first. Goal number two after that, I don't even know. I can't really see past that point because I'm not sure where it'll take me. But although my interest is in emergency comms, and that's kind of right up my alley since I'm a peace officer and I consider myself a servant. So I've kind of always had an interest in emergency comms, but there's so many things to do in the ham world, I'm not quite sure where it's going to take me. So that's a little bit about where I'm coming from. Back to you.
Brief introduction to myself. My name's Greg. My call sign is November 5 X-Ray Oscar. And I've been in the amateur radio hobby for just over 50 years. Primarily all HF in my early years, and then I discovered girls in high school and then the United States Navy. So that kind of detracted from the hobby for a while. Got out of the Navy, which, by the way, I was a radioman in. So I continued doing the hobby, just getting paid for it now. And then was active for a while and then went inactive as career, family raising, and everything kind of took over. Got back into it off and on a few times over the decades. And then when the last kid graduated out of college and left home and I had money again, we got back into the hobby and started building a station, and my wife finally joined me in the hobby in 2007, and it's kind of taken off. I discovered in 2006, 2007, weak signal operating on VHF, UHF, and that's been my focus since. So that's basically a quick, brief rundown of who I am. I've got a great passion for this hobby, and it's something that I really want to encourage others in, and I try to really promote and encourage this. Anybody that gets within 15 feet knows what I do for a hobby and knows the passion I have for the hobby. So I'm looking forward to the new show, and I'm looking forward to it growing and improving as we go. So we thank you for joining us.
My section of the show is about building clubs and doing emergency communications. We do quite a bit of that here in Benton County, and I'm super excited to be a part of the show. Can't wait to have you join us.
Hi again, Melissa KI5ICQ, and my two segments of the show are going to be Show Us Your Ham Shacks and also the new Ham Corner. So send your pics of your ham shacks or your antenna setups to hamster-updates at 144200.net, and we'll feature shacks and antenna setups during each show. The new Ham Corner is going to focus on what it takes to get your license, how to find an Elmer, and basically how to get started. And we're also going to focus on talking to new hams that are already in the hobby and what drew them to the hobby. Back to you.
My portion of the show is going to primarily deal on product reviews, station building, contesting, how to take advantage of building a quality station, whether it's an HF station, to take advantage of the current solar cycles, or building a high-end VHF, UHF station, or even a basic VHF, UHF station. We've got hamster members that are living in an apartment complex with no room for antennas. They are using an inside antenna, and he's worked 700 miles on 2 meters, antenna to antenna. There's a lot of exciting things like that you can do, and we're going to show you how to do that, how to pick the right antennas for your needs, right radio, and develop them. We're also going to get some folks in here. I am by no means an expert on roving, but we've got multiple hamster members who are very versed in roving stations, and some folks that are associated with the hamsters while they're not members, that have also said that they're going to join us and help us out on how to build a roving station. So you may not be able to build a VHF, UHF station at your house. So we're going to show you how to take advantage of that with your mobile. There's a lot of excitement that we can do. And since I am by no means an expert, what we're going to do is we're going to turn around and put together people, and we'll have guests on here to come on and help promote this. We want you to come away with each show thinking, wow, I got a lot of value out of that hour's worth of time. So we hope you continue to join us as we advance this show, and also bear with us. You know, this is a new area for us, so we are all really rough around the whatever. See, I can't even come up with that. We're just really rough, and we're just getting this thing parted. We will be all together in future shows. We've got the linking stuff that we're working on and sorting out, so it'll go much smoother in the future. This was just kind of a brief introduction to the cast and crew and what we could do. So please help us, and if you got ideas on how to improve, you can email me at n5xo@144200.net. and I look forward to it. So anyway, I hope you'll gain some value from the technical section that I'll be doing. Samantha will be doing emergency communications and Aries functionality with that, and Melissa will be handling new hams. She's a brand new ham herself, so she's going to be sharing how and what she went through to get her ham license, how to study, how to advance, some of the obstacles you might run into, and also to help encourage the ladies to get their ham license. One of the things that I'm really proud of with the hamster group is the fact that we've got an out of balanced average of women operators, ranging from 18 years old to 60, 70 years old. So, you know, and a lot of the ladies joined the hamster group and joined amateur radio years after ignoring the hobby that their husbands did. But they got in, they had fun with the hamsters and our activities and our events, and they decided, you know what, this was kind of a fun thing, so we wanted to get into it. So Melissa will be covering that. She'll also be covering new hams. So we're excited.
Thank you so much for joining us for this quick introduction to our brand new show. Please bear with us as we work through all of the kinks and the rough spots that usually come along with putting together new shows or any kind of new and exciting ventures. We would love to have you join us in October when we put out our very first show. And we want to explore as many facets of amateur radio as we possibly can and do it in an exciting way to really get you pulled in and get you interested. Thank you so much. My name is Samantha Henley, KE0LMY, and I look forward to seeing you in October.